our next lesson. Finally, we have some good weather. We're gonna halter up the boys. Tavis just did it alone. And we're gonna take them out on the property where they've been living, where they don't ever get to go. It's gonna be like they're going on the trails and the ranchos, but we're gonna have them in the confines of my railroad tie finish line fencing in case they see something that scares them. So we wanna be able to know that we can confine them and keep them safe if they get scared. So we're just taking them out with their halters and with their lead trainer, Tavis. I'm gonna follow along. And we've got the goats out here too. Try to take them not towards the front gate, please, just kind of around where they haven't been hanging out. I do have a automatic gate at the front that is closed unless we open it on purpose, just in case they get out of the confines of their living space here at our satellite sanctuary property. So Tavis is doing the right thing. He's taking them to a familiar area, a pathway to the gate. I'm going to get closer. I'll close the gate when you go through. We don't have a third person. When we have a third person, we'll go out on the rancho's trail. I think they're going to enjoy this. This morning, in the big pasture, they were having a blast with each other, running around and frolicking. I love to see them being happy like that. But I have to worry about making sure they're safe. They are prey animals. And to take them to strange places might be challenging them. Okay, I now close the gate, carefully walking behind them. I'll try to arrange for a third person at our next session so that we can follow up by going out on the rancho's trails. 20 lineal miles of trails here where no motor vehicles are allowed. And I have 5 gates out to those trails. Yeah, they're resisting. They're a little bit worried. I don't blame them because of their nature as a prey animal. They're not sure where they are. You can see in their body language the way they're looking here and there, resisting a little bit to go forward. By the way, out here, which is going to be a high tunnel where we're going to farm their carrots here, we're bringing the manure out here. It's October. By March, I should have my high tunnel, and we should be approaching spring. We're going to be working this manure into the soil. Alpaca manure is great fertilizer, and you don't have to compost it. I made sure that our site for carrot production on this property is going to be near where the alpacas live. We're just going to come out and get their carrots from our carrot farm. They're doing okay so far. They are being cautious. I'd expect that. Here are the goat boys having a good time, butting each other, head-butting each other. We keep them safe. As we walk by, I'll show it to you. We keep them safe at night in a yard right by the house. But in the morning, at dawn, I open the gate, and they get to come out here on this 6-acre ranch, wherever they choose. And they have not chosen to leave the place. They really like living here. Alpha's being especially observant. Beta is resisting, you see that? A little bit. He said, no, I don't want to go there. And they're looking at their big pasture from outside my finish line fencing. Do they even realize that that's their big pasture where they hang out? I don't know. But this is the first time we've done this. We'll do it with repetition. We'll take them out, weather permitting, to the rancho's trails. I intend to also be farming teff hay, and my intention is to farm it without a high tunnel out here on this part of my sanctuary satellite ranch farm. And I know the boys will enjoy eating teff hay. And we'll be bringing large farm animals here too. Other large farm animals like donkeys and mules and horses as needed, because we'll want to take them out on the trails too. And my 20-acre ranch has tremendously wonderful facilities, but there's not much trail system there. Gonna carefully walk out. I hope the goats don't get too rambunctious out here. I have my boots on because it was raining, and I don't know if we're gonna be in mud and rain puddles, but I did trip the other day with my rain boots on and skinned my knee quite badly, but it's healing. I don't think that Alpha has once pulled his head down like Beta has. I'm busy watching the ground and watching the goats, but Alpha's just curious and doing what a prey animal will do when he's out in new territory. But Beta is resisting, but he seems to be responding. I'm clucking like I cluck when I'm on a horse. No, Beta is saying, nope, I'm not going there. Okay, we'll deal with these issues when we have an extra person. Let's see if we can get Beta to go there. We'll get an arm extension if we need it. Yeah, let's give him some security. His ears are back. I honestly wasn't sure how they would behave out here. And they're obviously behaving differently from each other. And it's because of their dispositions. Alpha has always been first to say, okay, I'll do it. Raise his hand, say, I'll do it. Beta has always been a little bit slower to come forward and say, okay, I'll do it. But always, he eventually does. I think that they weren't sure that they wanted to come out here on this concrete driveway. If we had a third person, when we're standing here, I would have had an arm extension in his hand, and I'd have said, encourage Beta to go forward with your arm extension and with your voice. Clucking. And then when they go forward, I'll make sure I have my clicker on my wrist so we can click, and they'll understand that's the right answer. See, that's what you need to do when you're training wildlife like this or farm animals like this. They have to understand when they're giving you the right answer. But of course their inclinations or their fears will be stronger. And we have to give them confidence. For the teff here, I'm going to be installing an irrigation system. There used to be an old one here, but it only ran along the driveway. I'll probably be using drip irrigation. That's a new project for me to find out. I'll watch YouTube videos, find out how to work it, how to preserve it, how to fix it. You see, Beta is resisting slowly, but he's not refusing because he's out on pasture land, which is what he's inclined to live on and feel comfortable with. Will he even be willing to step out onto the concrete? I have a neighbor across the trail there who has 2 horses, and they're out there at the fence looking at my boys, wondering what they are. And you see, and that's where the trail is. If we were out there on the trail, we'd maybe be able to let them be nose to nose through the fence and understand who each other are. Okay, question. Will Beta go on the concrete? I didn't know whether or not there would be resistance out here, but there definitely is. Not by Alpha. He's cautious, but not resisting. Beta is saying, no, I'm not stepping out on that ground. It's a very nice October day. It's October 17th. And we've got about a week of no rain predicted. I'll line up some people for our next few lessons to help us give Beta confidence and to give him an attitude of, I've got to do what they ask me and I just have to trust them. I had Dee here with her extended family with children about a week and a half ago, and when she got home she told me the kids had a blast and she wants to come again. Actually, Dee might be coming here on Saturday. She might be able to help. That's tomorrow. Let's plan on it tomorrow when Dee gets here. If she schedules the time with us that I expect she will. Just to give you a review of the history with alpha and beta, they used to know nothing. They didn't even know what a halter was. But we taught them, we documented it on YouTube. We can get the halters on, as you saw today, without a lot of resistance. Beta usually will give a little resistance, but if we touch him on his neck, he'll stop resisting and he'll say, oh, okay. And here come the goats. They're running towards you. What do the alpacas say about that? You see my railroad tie post fencing with finish line cable? I highly recommend it for anybody who's going to have large farm animals and you're trying to figure out what kind of fence to use. The hard part is, for organic farming, they won't allow you to use posts with creosote in them for your fencing where you're farming. I used to be able to buy creosote at the hardware store, and many years ago that was nixed. We weren't allowed to get creosote or use it. But for my over 40 years experience with horses, that's the only wood, creosote-filled wood, that they won't chew if they are inclined to want to chew on the fence. Let's try to get to the other side of the house where the goat fencing is without going on the concrete. We now know that we're going to have to take that route today until we have some extra helpers to convince Beta that it's okay to step out on the concrete. Beta's resisting. Okay, now it's not just the concrete, it's the fact that, yeah, he hasn't been back here. All right, he's looking here, there, everywhere. He's responding. He can see all of this space from his home fenced area, but he hasn't been out here. Now he's walking okay. He's definitely looking around, but he's following without resistance. Very interesting. Go to the right, please, and then we'll show the goat enclosure on this video. I was very worried about having goats with neighborhood dogs running free at night and wildlife like mountain lions running around Nevada County, rural areas. So I used my portable fencing with lattice to make a safe but very cozy, comfortable place for the goats to be at night. And then they come readily in the evening to go into their yard. They get their treats, they find their comfort, and we watch them with cameras and lights on like we do. Also watch the alpacas where they live at night. And as beautiful and as wonderful as this big pasture is, because of the fact that, especially because of the fact that people tend to let their dogs run loose at night, I won't let either of them be out there because I don't have any lights and cameras out there. And I have an acquaintance who had 2 alpacas, and one of them was killed in the middle of the night by a neighborhood dog. So here we are, good. We're going to be able to go all around, but I don't think Beta will go on the concrete, so you'll have to come back here. But this is their yard at night. We've got a shelter there, and they do use it when it's raining. We've got lights, come on and off by timers. We close this portable panel with a chain lock at night. They have water, they have grass, and they do enjoy their stays in their safe yard at night. But they do enjoy coming out in the morning. It's definitely the concrete. Is he gonna accidentally step on it? Yes, yes, he did. Maybe he saw the goats and he said, okay, if you guys can do it, I can do it. Maybe that's the way he's thinking. I trained Morgan horses and mini cows for decades. They never, ever refused to do ultimately what I was asking them to do. But sometimes it was harder with one than with the other. But with repetition, with applying pressure when the wrong answer is given and providing reward when the lesson is done, we did everything together that I ever asked them to do in those over 40 years. Goat boys are having a good time. I honestly didn't expect to be able to get Beta on the concrete today, but we did. That was a treat that he was willing to do that. When I go to get some more alpaca pellets for them, which I always have backup pellets when we run out in the flip ends, I'll see if there's a treat that's especially designed for alpacas. A treat that they get when they're done, because they get their carrots every day. I want them to look forward to a treat that they get when they're done with their training sessions. Here are the goats. They're certainly following us everywhere. They're looking in the next yard over, which doesn't have any livestock in it. It used to have a tenant in the house. I think it was the house owner, but she has since moved. This was really a pleasure, this lesson. try something new, get the right answer the first time that we try it. Now we'll go back to their comfortable shelters and treats and green grass where they live day and night. And we did all of this with Tavis alone at the halters. And I'm very proud of Tavis, and I'm very proud of my alpacas. And I'm sure glad we got this on film. And watch for it, it will be uploaded, I hope, by the end of the day. And if you've subscribed, you'll be notified that we have a new film ready for you to watch. Now, are they going to go through the gate without hesitation? Yes, they know. They know where this is. They're familiar. And of course, I have a rule on this property. Never leave a gate open, even for a few seconds. As soon as you get through the gate, you must close it. Oh, another, let's see, that's Alpha in his water tub. Alpha chose to go in there and relax. Will Beta do that? Or is he just too observant? Stepped in a little bit with his right leg. They like their water tubs. We have 3 of them set up back here. It's nice and quiet. It's nice and sunny, but not too hot. Alpha's back in with his front leg. Now he pulled out. Is Beta gonna go in? He thought about it. But as usual, Beta takes a little longer to do something new. It's okay. We're not in a rush. We just know that we want them to learn and be confident and be willing. And with repetition, with pressure for the wrong answer and reward when the lesson is over, they'll learn. They'll be willing. Now they know they're going back to their attacking area. I don't see any hesitation from either of them.